All right, so the two types of buyer, the deal-driven buyer and the goal-driven buyer. Are you driven by a good deal or a goal? And I think we all display characteristics of those two buyers at certain points. And let's talk about the difference. You've got the deal-driven buyer that buys because they're faced with what they feel is a good deal. I think the archetypical deal-driven buyer would be Archie Luxury. He sees a good deal and he jumps on it, and he'll end up with watches, you know, some of these Breitlings he's had recently, the Steel Fish. He's had a lot of watches that he got because they were good deals. Now, of course, if you're a flipper like he is, then you see a profit margin there, and I think that's what possibly motivates him. But you know, I've displayed characteristics of the deal-driven buyer. I didn't particularly need that F94W, that last Casio that I got. It was $10, and I kind of got it because it was cheap. It was like a good deal. It was like an impulse buy. The same could be said of the two 36, or that's 34, I don't know, but those two Seiko 5s that I got. But I really did want a Seiko, so not only was it a good deal, especially that first one. The second was pretty much totally deal driven, but the very first Seiko that I got with a sort of kind of sparkly dial, and yeah. Well, anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? The ones without the Delphine hands. Not only was it a deal, but I really wanted that watch. I mean, I really wanted a Seiko and a Seiko 5, and that was like the style I wanted, and it was sort of a goal to get that watch. So now that's good buying, when you get a deal and it's something you really want. That's what you look for. The Delphine hands Seiko, that was largely deal driven because it was inexpensive. Now the Seiko 5, the speed timer, that was totally deal driven. I wasn't even sure if I wanted that watch, and I'm still not sure if I want that watch. But it was kind of a decent price, and that's why I picked that watch up. Now, I've had a couple close calls because I've been almost lured in by what I thought would be a good deal, and that's sort of the pitfall of being a deal-driven buyer. The first that I can remember is seeing in Fukuoka at a used shop. It was a 50th anniversary Man on the Moon. 4:45 here, that's what the music means. Come in out of the rice fields. It's time to end your day. Perhaps that's a bit of the history of that music. Anyway, yes, a 50th anniversary Man on the Moon, and that's the one that I mentioned recently. The Eagle Has Landed was on the back, and then it said something like 50th anniversary. And I remember thinking, I can't quite remember the price, but I want to say it was about 170 something thousand yen, about $1,700. I don't know. I forget I said that because I don't quite remember what it was. But I remember thinking, that's a bit of a deal, I thought, right? And I remember I was new to the watch world, and I knew that the Man on the Moon was a watch worth looking at, and I thought, wow, this is an anniversary watch. That's special. It's like, it's like a Man on the Moon plus, it's a limited edition, right? Little did I know. I thought it was a deal. In fact, I went home and I talked to my wife and I said, it's a really good deal. I don't think that shop knows what they have. And she looked at me like I was crazy, and she was like, they're professionals. Like, she gave me this look like, you can't beat them at their own game, and she was totally right. They knew what they had, and that was one of the many anniversary models, and it was a good watch, and you know, it would have been fine to get that watch, but you know, I've learned since then to avoid those anniversary models, and I feel like that was a close call, and I was lured in by the deal, not because I really wanted a man on the moon. Another time that happened when I was watch shopping in Fukuoka, I came across a $2,000 Air King. It was all steel, salmon dial, beautiful watch. I had the sub at the time, so I was a one Rolex guy, and I thought, wow, this could make a great second piece. You know, I mean, I was sort of saving up for that second piece. I was thinking it was going to be the Explorer 2, and I was probably about halfway to saving up for that, and I remember seeing this $2,000 Rolex, thinking that's a really good deal. Now, it didn't have any box or papers, and there was no guarantee. I remember asking them if, you know, if I take it to Rolex to get it checked out and like something's up with it, can I get my money back? And they were like, no. Which sort of spooked me a bit. I thought, yeah, that's a bit risky, and you know, it didn't have the box and the papers. I didn't know its service history, but it was still a good deal. It was still a good deal, and I almost pulled the trigger because I had the money ready, and you know, I'd had half the Explorer 2 funds set up, and I could have just taken those and immediate gratification. And I'm really glad I didn't, because it's not really what I wanted. I was drawn in by the deal, $2,000. And you know, if I could go back in time, would I get that? Is that a good deal for a, you know, a no box, no papers, sort of old, not too old, but you know, Air King, salmon dial? I don't know. I think it's a good deal if you find that at a brick and mortar shop, but I don't know if I were to sell it, I could have gotten my money back. And plus, yeah, that's just something you know, selling watches is just something I really haven't looked into, and I'm, you know, I don't know anything about it. I don't really know how I'd go about doing it, whether I'd go eBay or try to sell it on this channel, or yeah, I don't know. But if I'd gotten that watch, would I still have it? Yeah, I'm not a flipper, so I might still have it, but it would have gotten in the way of watches I really wanted, like the Explorer 2 and the GMT Master 2. Like I said, I was drawn in by the deal and not because I actually wanted the watch. And that's the dangers of being lured in by a good deal. Now, typically I am a goal-driven buyer, meaning I set my sights on a model, the Explorer 2, the GMT Master 2, the sub, and I search it out, and I do my research on it, and I look for it, and then I try to find the good bargain, the good deal. And you get what you want, and I feel that that's where the buyer that you want to be. And that's, you know, that's one of the reasons that I made a video, link in the description, but I'll try to summarize it, about sort of conceptualizing your collection very early on. I had the no date sub, and I could see I could see what was happening. I wanted another Rolex, and I couldn't decide if I wanted the Explorer 2 or a Datejust or the GMT. But I saw this slippery slope of just endless collection and endless collecting, and I thought, I again, check out the video if you want to, but I sort of stepped back and I thought, you know, what are the goals? What do you want? What would make you happy? What would satisfy you enough to where you could kind of let your collection be and not shop anymore and not want to get any more watches? And it was the No Date Sub, Explorer 2, GMT, and a Datejust. And I thought that would be the ideal collection. If I get that, I'm out. There's nothing else I want. Now, there's always things that pop up that tempt you, you know, Tudor GMTs and Rolex GMTs or whatever. You know, there are always temptations out there. But establishing what was my ideal collection put me in a mindset of having goals that I could accomplish that would satisfy me, and I'm out. And it sort of gave me focus that protected me when I went into these watch shops and I was faced with, you know, a good bargain on a anniversary Man on the Moon, or an Air King, or countless others that I thought, you know, yeah, this seems like a good deal, or I could pull this off today, or, you know, if you're a goal-driven buyer, it helps cut through that nonsense that can lead you astray. And it's easy to, you know, hit a watch shop and all of a sudden you're tempted. You never really considered an Oyster Quartz before, but you got one in front of you, and it's a two-tone, but it's $2,500, and you're thinking, that seems like a great price. Wow. And all of a sudden you're led astray, and you wind up maybe with a collection that you're not quite happy with because it's not really what you wanted. You were drawn in by the good deal. So we all display, I think, characteristics of those two sort of types of buyer. Some people more than others. But I think I would encourage someone to be goal driven, because I think long term it's gonna make for a happier experience, a better collection, a collection that means more to you, more satisfying collection, and I think you'll be happier with your pieces. But let me know what you guys think. You know, have you been drawn in by a good deal? Have you kept your eyes on a piece that you wanted and in a sense, you know, were goal driven towards and accomplished it? I mean, you know, do tell. Are you guys more of one than another? Let me know. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.